It's kind of ridiculous that we're forcing people, in order to enjoy the feelings of stability in which they can form a family, they have to place a large six-figure bet in the property market. I also think it's a shit way to spend your money. Okay, let me put it like this, okay? Okay, if you're buying, let's say you've got quite a good job in a London bank and you decide you're going to buy a three-bedroom house in Fulham, which is probably, 1.4, 1.6 million. What you're saying in 2024, you're prepared to spend about 50% of your discretionary disposable income in order to own something that a poor person would have owned in 1924. The house itself is a piece of shit, right? It's not an interesting house. It's the location that contains the value. The house is unbelievably boring. It's where a postman would have lived, in 1917. And you have this extraordinary competitive technological economy where you can buy jet skis and hot tubs and everything else, right? No. I don't want any of those wonders. Now, the postman in 1917 would have been aghast at what we can buy with our money, the cars, the holidays, the jet travel, etc. And the one, genuinely, as I said, if Louis XIV visited that house in Fulham, he'd go, you've got the flat screen television, you've got broadband access, you've got a car outside. You truly are possessed of unimaginable wealth. What I can't understand is why you live in such a shit house, right? That's what Louis XIV would say. And so we've produced these extraordinary consumer goods, and yet the vast proportion of people's disposable income is spent in buying a location occupied by a totally shit house. And I've got a friend who's got a flat in the Barbican, and I get that, right? Because you go, okay, it is now worth 1.x or 2.3 million. But if you walk into the flat on the 23rd floor of the Barbican, you do go, wow, that's a fucking amazing place to live. Right? Most of the housing in London is dross. I mean, this is literally like having a 1970s Ford Cortina, and then paying basically 60,000 a year for the parking space. That's what property is like. The actual buildings are utterly tedious and awful for the most part. And all the money is actually in the land. And people don't realize this, but I mean, it's the land and the permission to build on that land basically are 90% of the value of that place. Actually rebuilding that place with something better would cost nothing. And it's kind of bothersome to me, because so much of what should be a productive discretionary market economy is actually being sequestered in this utterly uninteresting form of wealth preservation.